What's up, motherfuckers? What's going on? I'm just starting off from where I left off last time. I got my little character right here, and I'm ready to start getting into this. And yeah, so right now we don't have the ability to turn the camera around, either with the middle mouse button or arrow keys. But I'm gonna set that up right now. So that's gonna be the first thing we do right now. Okay, so let's look at the thing right here. This is called character body. I should probably just call this player at this point. Player. We know it's a character body 3D. And yeah, okay, so we got all this going on. We just need some input for the camera. And yeah, so does get vector always expect 4 things? Okay, yeah, it does. So that'll be like for panning if I ever want to get that. Well, technically, but it's only gonna be 2 ways. So get vector. Is that like a get float or something? Let me see. Get joy axis. They also have get this. Look at all the floats right now. Get action raw strength. Action exact match. Action strength. Turns the value between 0 and 1, return the action. And a joypad, for example, the further away from the axis. I think this will be what we're looking for, get action strength. So I'm going to copy that on over. And yeah, I'm almost thinking about making this its own function, just so it's somewhere outside physics process, because physics process easily gets complicated. Okay, I'll just say func get move direction. And so I want to have all this, and I'm gonna basically do a lot of this stuff. Yeah, get move direction. I think that'll be good actually. It could just be a void function. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's about it. Get move direction. Should replace UI actions with custom. Oh, I already did that. So I don't need that comment. I could put a comment right here though, just saying moving the player horizontally. And this is moving the player vertically somehow, so but handle jump is fine. I'm going to change this later on. I know like I'll make it a lot more smooth. But for now I'm just gonna have the get move direction. I think that's a lot better to put here. Okay, so then I'm also gonna get function get. Well, maybe change move direction would be better because I'm actually changing stuff. That's actually better. Okay, so maybe this would be change camera rotation, and this would just be another input, but instead of input direction, I'll be like input left, and then I'll have a right, and then right here it's gonna be, instead of input get vector, no, I don't have that anymore. So let's look at that one. I was trying to get the input action strength, and that will. The reason I want to use these functions is because this is good, because this is returns some between 0 and 1. So this could be a float value. So if we ever use controllers, this will be perfectly set for it. And for an RPG game that's like top down, controllers might be pretty good, depending on where I'm going. If I'm making it more actiony and there's not a lot of menu presses, it might be good to have some controllers in there. But yeah, definitely good to have a controller scheming. And let's say you ever port to console, it's always a good thing to like think forward. What the hell is happening? Okay. So let's get the camera, rotate camera left, and let's go remove these. Okay, input left and input right. This will be between 0 and 1 with this one, and 0 and 1 with the right. Well, I mean, whoops, I fucked up. That's right. I just copy and pasted and didn't change it. Right. And boom, we have that. So let's just put this shit in there. So based on like what's happening there, should probably do something like this above here and all that. No, it doesn't need to be normalized. It's already gonna be between 0 and 1 anyway. Because it's just a float value. This is just if we're messing with vectors. And we do have a speed, so we probably want some type of camera rotation speed. And later on I might set these to exports. Okay. Let's say 5.0 for now, the same as the other speed. It might be too fast. Okay, so yeah. So I think there's gonna be two possibilities for this. So we're gonna either have the input left or input right. First I'm just gonna make the arrow keys work, and then I'm gonna make the middle mouse button work. I think that's gonna be my plan. Because this one will be, maybe when I have this enabled, I'll take in mouse input. And whatever mouse input I have, then yeah, it's all good. So, yeah, I think that's all I need. I could also do this. And I'm just like, this is just an enabled thing. So if they're clicking it down, basically. Is there any way I could just get that from here? I want to see if I could use this as much as I can, actually. Action press. Is there a bool? Let's see if there's a bool. Is action just pressed? Is action pressed? Right there. Input is action pressed. So, var, whoops. I almost feel like I could use the input thing for this. I don't think it's good to check that every single frame. It'll probably be good to check these every single frame. But yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be right. Because the enabled one is just, if I click and then release. Yeah, that's about it. So I want the function input, event, and if event that is action pressed, then I want to do, let's say right here, mouse rotate enable, and I think that's about all I need. Allow echo equals false, exact match. What's allow echo mean? Allow echo I'm not sure what allow echo means. Huh. Maybe. I don't know. But for now, I'll just have that. So, sometimes also what I do is I'll just have a Boolean variable. See, this seems like we're getting all of our project settings. So I'll say project settings variable. Whoops. Variables. And these will all just be state variables. And this will be var is mouse rotate enabled. And I'll just set to false by default. And I'll just set to that. No, I mean held. That's what I meant to say. Held. Is mouse rotate held. And we actually probably will actually want to do these two. Held. So we want to check if it's held down or not. So if it's held down, that's when we want this to be active. So I'll definitely set this to true. And elif event dot is action released. And this, whoops. Mouse rotate enable. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to false instead. And that is very nice. So now we got that going. And mouse rotate enable equals to true. This will be true. False. And boom. And this will be, yeah, I think that'll be like that, yeah. So if is mouse button held, then I'll do something. And yeah. Oh, I think it gives warnings now if you don't use the and. I'm not sure. I kind of like these though. So right here what was happening is my mouse cursor kept disappearing and it felt really weird while I was highlighting stuff, but it ended up just being an OBS thing. It was not a Godot side. And I was complaining, I was like thinking, it's like, oh, how come I can't find this? And it was already like, I think it was just OBS. And yeah, so the cursor just disappears while I'm using OBS. Not, and, okay. So that'll be these two. So if it's not held and we've just released it, oh no, I got that logic backwards. Okay. If it's not held and we've just pressed it, then do this. But if it is held and we just released it, then do this. So here I was finding out that I didn't really need the is mouse rotate enabled. All I need is a is mouse rotate held. Because as long as we're holding it down, that's the only thing we need to check if it's true or false. And you can just tell right here, we're sending them both to the same value. So there's no point in the enabled thing. All we need is this held button. And we don't want to keep checking every frame. That's why I'm going to have it in here only when we press any keyboard inputs or mouse inputs. It's the only time we're going to need it. And when you release, it also triggers this function. So yeah, I think it's a bit more efficient. Especially for a Boolean. That's one thing I like about Godot, is you have stuff like that. Okay, so now we got that. So this will like determine if the mouse rotate button is held, and do some stuff else. Let's do this stuff. And boom, that's how we're gonna get that. So that way, yeah, we always have something going. Okay, so first let's just get the let's get this going. This will be a lot easier. So if, based on the strength of input left, we'll rotate the camera pivot. That's what we're going to rotate. This is just rotation. That's all it is. And we later on we might change it to panning, so that way we can move around with the camera. But I'm not sure what controls I'll make that. I'm sure there'll probably be another, like a set of controls we could use. Maybe Q and E should be the ones that are rotate camera left and rotate camera right. So that way the player has everything that they need right on one hand. That might be better. But yeah, I'll make it customizable too, so that way if a player has preference, they'll be able to do that. I think there's something wrong with something here. It's like my mouse keeps disappearing. But probably with OBS. Okay, so let's see. So we got the input left and input right. So that's the keyboard strokes. And if it's left, then we'll have our camera's rotation speed right here. And we're going to go by delta, I think. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to go by delta. So probably passing delta through here. The type float. Because we're going to get it from the physics process, I think. And so we definitely want to pass that in. We don't use delta through here because move and slide already applies delta, so there was no need to actually, since we're moving the character, there's no need to apply delta. I think it still applies delta by the way, but I'm sure it does because they didn't even apply delta here. And this is just like actually Godot generated code. But yeah, so that's definitely something. And yeah, so let's go through here. We got input left and right, and yeah, let's do it. So this will be camera pivot ref dot rotate, and we're going to rotate by Y, and this is going to be by delta times camera rotation speed. And later on we'll change this to an export. I think that'll be better, so that way it's easier to change. Okay, it might actually be better since these are just both floats. Yeah, maybe for left, let's have it negative. So input left is going to be a float, because that's what this returns, right? Yeah, it returns a float. And so I'm going to make sure this is of type float, that we know this is of type float when we're doing this. And let's make this of type float too. Boom, now we have both of these going. And yeah. So we have input left and right. We know they're both floats. So we should probably times input left by -1. Almost put a semicolon by accident. That way we, since it's going to be a Boolean value, yeah, it'll be left. And then, yeah, that's good. Now I'll make it 1.0. Okay, so now we got left and right. And, yeah, and then I think what we could do is we could just say our complete input. I think this will work actually. Float equal to input left plus input right. And this will be the entire thing times that. And that'll just be whether or not we're times it by -1. And that'll dictate how much speed we're doing. So I think that's all we need to do. Let's see if that works. So here I was being stupid. The inputs aren't working because I didn't call the function from physics process. And yeah, so like I tried to print and nothing was happening. Oh, I'm not even calling this function. I'm an idiot. Okay. I'm an idiot, guys. Okay. So delta. So I might not need this. I might just put this as a comment for now. Yeah, there we go. Camera rotation speed. It's definitely a little high. I would like it a little lower just by default, maybe 3. And maybe I'll make these defaults instead. This part's also a bit uninteresting. I'm just replacing some of the constant variables with just whatever their name was, but just with default appended to it, just so that I know they're the default values. This might not be a good idea, but I'm doing it. Yeah, let's keep it at 3 and let's see how 3 looks. 3 looks good. I like that. Okay. And now we're going to have our mouse input going. So the mouse rotate is held. Let's see actually. If I'm holding, yeah, it doesn't work. But as soon as I let go, it does work. Yep. Okay. So boom. We got that going. So now we want to get, now that mouse rotate is held, whenever mouse rotate is held, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it. So this part's a bit uninteresting right here. I'm just going over like what's the best way to get the mouse input movement. But I end up going with just like having an unhandled input function. And then I also getting the event relative based on that. But here I'm just still going over all the documentation, just trying to see if there's some new thing in Godot 4 that could do it. But I just like to use unhandled input, like right here. And I forgot how to do it here, so like I look up like how do you check if it's a mouse movement, and it's like you just actually make sure it's of type input event mouse motion, and I looked that up right now, and I go back to trying to look at if there's any input map like mouse motion, but there is none. So yeah, and I just look it up right here. And then I just find, oh, input event is mouse motion, or is event input mouse motion, or whatever. And yeah, and I go through some more documentation trying to find out how to find mouse motion, but it's actually event.relative. And then I think of something else I need to do. Also, another thing I do want to do is that we might have a mouse just by default on, because like the player might want to click on menus and stuff as we're going. So a good thing to do too. I forgot, since mouse mode was a property, that you just say set mouse mode, and then because with any property, if you say like set whatever the property's name is, then it'll actually set it. And yeah, right here I just do that and I check the documentation. Oh, mouse mode is just right here. Yeah, set mouse mode. Okay. So we have set mouse mode and we set to that. Okay. And right here we have it mouse mode hidden. So like as we're doing that, we want the mouse mode hidden so that way it's centered. And then I think that, wait, no, I think it's something else. Captured is the one we want. So captured will center it to the screen, and then we'll rotate around, and we won't go outside the screen as we're rotating, because that's what the player is going to want when they're clicking the middle mouse button. I don't think anyone's going to want it to be visible. When we let go, we go back to normal mode basically, and then that's when the mouse is visible. Okay. Here we got rotate y. Okay. And here I find that event.relative is how you get the change in mouse position. Once again, I just need to look up what it was called. I just forgot the name. Relative.x. And that's how you get the this is the x coordinate on the y thing. And yeah. So let's do this. Let's put these in parentheses. I just like to have it organized. And let's say if mouse button is held and that, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate this by that, and probably all of this. And it probably should be by delta. I'm not exactly sure. It might not matter because it doesn't need to be that accurate. Maybe it does need to be by delta. Okay. So, yeah, we already saw that work just now. But yeah, I do need times by delta though. Sometimes what I also like to do is just to capture delta outside the function. But it might not be a very good idea. I might just do it though. This isn't really a state variable. Bar delta 0.0, so that'll be a float, and delta is going to be right here. Delta is equal to self dot delta delta. That might cause some warnings. Might want to name it something else. Maybe just delt. I can take out the self part. Okay. And yeah, so I could just times it by delt right here. And that should slow it down a good bit. Yeah, now we have some rotation. When we rotate left, it rotates that way. When we rotate right, it goes this way. And we could probably have some setting where it gets flipped or something somehow. But I think for now that's fine. Whee! Okay. And now we have this too, where we could actually rotate around. Maybe when we use the mouse wheel, we could actually zoom in a little bit or something. I don't know. Yeah, I like this so far. You could actually see him jumping. Watch. I wonder if I could jump over this. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So let's set to maybe 7.5, something like that. That's way too high, I think. Let's see how it is in perspective, actually. That might be a good way to judge it. Let's see it in perspective. Okay. Yeah. It's a little too high. I'll say about 6. And this makes a big difference. If you just change this just a little bit, it makes a big difference in the jumps, actually. Not too straightforward. I think that's perfect, actually. Let's see. We already have slope controls. I'm not seeing any. I'm already able to jump between stuff, actually. Just kind of slow, but yeah. Feels a little floaty, actually. I want to set the gravity a little higher. I know it's kind of weird, but yeah, let me see. Gravity. Let's set it to about. Feels like 2 times too slow. Okay, I want to like. That's not gonna be my default like height. I don't think. Let's say 9. Thank you. That's perfect. I like that feeling. Yeah, I think that's good. I like that. Okay. Not an overpowered jump. It is going to be RPG game. Let's go back to orthogonal. And this should be current, actually. Now we got that going. I think I can jump on here. Yeah. Boom. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Okay. We're going to design a lot of stuff to be seen through this lens. And what I also want to do is I also just want to test just maybe importing without using all the Godot stuff. I mean, Godot is useful for like bringing a bunch of custom shit in, but maybe for now I'll just keep the OBJs. Yeah, I'm on Reddit. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I was on Reddit because I was looking up stuff. So, look at Godot. Yeah, we got that going. Also, I kind of wanted to get zooming done real quick too. So that, like, I'm gonna do that first real quick. So it'll be the size parameter that dictates how close we are. So that'll, yeah, that'll be how close we are to our character. Makes it nice and easy. We're always gonna be the same distance away. And yeah, and we're just rotating around. And that makes everything a lot easier. Right, yeah. Okay, so, right now, yeah, physics process function is looking pretty good too. I'm gonna probably change this to its own jump function too. Let me see. Change vertical. Player jump. And maybe I need delta, I think. I don't know if I do or not. Nah, I don't need delta. For now, at least. Player jump. Boom. And boom. That's all it needs. Let's just put. Ah, sorry, I'm used to my work. Capitalize all the functions. Okay. And boom! Hell yeah. And this is gravity. That's just applying gravity. And I think that's good. Okay. We're handling the jump. Moving player horizontally. I like to make everything in functions. It's a lot nicer that way. Boom. Alright, we have a nice and simple physics process function. We're already handling player moving, player camera rotation. I'm going to get zooming too right now. Let's do that. I could also make it when you have the middle mouse button pressed, that held down, that you also zoom in if you move upwards. I think that would actually be cool. Maybe it could be a setting to turn off. Let's see. Let's go to input map. I'm going to add a couple of them. Camera zoom. And, yeah, camera zoom in. This will be up arrow key for now. And, camera zoom out. This will be, let's add that. Down arrow key. Okay, so we're zooming in, zooming out, and what we want beside that, yeah, we got the mouse rotate enable, and can we also, for zoom in, can we also just set the mouse wheel up? That could also be it too, and mouse wheel down. I think that'll actually be perfect. Mouse wheel down all devices, mouse wheel up all devices. Something like that. Okay. So now we got down and up. And boom, we got all that going. And yeah, so I could take out this little comment right here. And yeah, change camera zoom. Camera zoom. We could pass on the delta through here. Change camera zoom, delta, type float. And let's do this. So yeah, pretty much no matter what, I don't care if the mouse button, rotate button's held or anything. We'll still just be able to zoom in and out. And yeah, that's fine. So now we're gonna do this. Yeah, this is the camera zoom. So var input zoom in. I'm gonna make it the same. Zoom in. It's good to keep it consistent. I actually might do that here too. Input left. Input right. That's complete input. Or else this is gonna be inconsistent. Okay. Boom, now we got camel casing instead. I'll just make it input dir. Okay, now we got all that going. Okay, so input zoom in. This is going to be of type float. Is equal to that. So input, get input action strength. And this will be camera zoom in. Camera zoom out. And boom, we got all that going. And that'd actually be better to do right there. Yeah. And we got zoom in and zoom out. So then this is already capturing the mouse wheel and the arrow keys. So that's very nice. And for the out, input zoom out. No, input zoom in will be actually be negative. Times equal to -1. Because then we're actually reducing the size until it hits 0. So this will be the camera ref dot size, and we're just gonna add it by zoom in and zoom out. Yeah, and var total zoom equal to input zoom in plus input zoom out, and that'll be this, and this will be plus equals total zoom. And let's say let's have a constant up here just called max zoom, and minimum zoom will probably be like 1 or something. Yeah. Also, I like to have these set types, just so we know that this needs to be a float, just in case we ever change it. Oops. Float, and let's make this 20, say 25, and min zoom, make it like 1. Okay. And that makes sense right there. So we have min zoom and max zoom. So let's just say if camera ref dot size is greater than or equal to max zoom, camera ref dot size equal to max zoom, and elif camera ref dot size is less than or equal to min zoom camera ref dot size equal to min zoom. Pretty much yeah, I'll capture both of those. Okay. I think this only needs the LF because like if we are above max zoom, we're definitely not below min zoom. So I think that's safe to have like that. Okay. So let's check the zoom. And it's being clamped basically. I might have also been able to use the clamp function. Let me see. I forgot what the hell's that's called. There's like some type of how to clamp between. I'm mostly just looking up the function because I don't really know what the function's called. Okay. Clamp? Actually, is there just a clamp function? That'd be cool. I like that. So just clamp. Oh wait. Yeah, clamp. Does clamp still exist in here? Does it return? Oh, it returns a float, right? Yeah, okay. Camera ref dot size is equal to clamp. Clamp isn't. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Okay. So we got the value, min, and max. Okay. And that means we'll still keep our min and max variables. Okay. Camera ref dot size min zoom max zoom. It's always better to use the inner functions because I think these are actually declared in like C++, so it's better to use those if you can. Okay. Yeah. And also, like, all the checking's already done for you. It does a lot for you. So, yeah. I just want to make sure it's within that. It's clamped. Yeah. Could also do this in one line. If I wanted. I could do this instead. So, if you want to just, like... Whoops. I'm just trying to copy and paste this. So, what I could do is this, actually. And then that'll be the clamp. I just put this in parentheses. I think that's actually a lot nicer. I like that. Okay. So that way everything's just in one line and it's actually more simple. But, okay. And I do want to have this variable because that does make it easier to see what's going on. Otherwise, it would be too many pluses in one line, in my opinion. I like to keep things below this mark. This is a little like this mark right here. If I could keep them, like this isn't too much over in my opinion. I'm not pretty, like I'm going to get like a 2K screen. I'm not going to mind if it's a bit over that. But yeah, it's good to like keep things below this line because even if you resize your screen, it's still good. Like right here, it might actually be good to just do this, for instance. So that way, actually it might be good to keep that right there. And just keep it like that. So that way it's easier to see what's going on so you don't have to scroll around. Like that's a very long line. But something like this, like where it's barely over in my opinion, I think it doesn't need to be done. But that's just up to you. I could also, like it would look like this and I feel like that looks nastier. And, but yeah, I like that. And just remember, whenever you're in Godot and you want to create like a line like that, you could actually do that with anything actually. So it doesn't have to be a function call. It could just be like x plus and then times and then plus and then minus some bullshit like that. And then let's say oh, I don't want this. So you could just have this right here. And actually I'll just keep this right here. I'll say var and it'll still work. Var is equal to that. So it's gonna still like give like some random stuff. Let's just say this is actually valid, I think. Grouping expression. Yeah, var x is equal to this. And you can just like put it in here. and that's still fine. So but if you don't do this, then it will mess up actually. So you do want to have those parentheses if you're going to go across multiple lines. So it works for both expressions and function calls. So it's very nice. But it's all it's looking for. All the syntax thing is looking for is just these parentheses, I think. And I think that's it. Okay. So, yeah. That's two things to look for. What's this? Oh, that's cool. It just takes you right there if you just click these. Let me go that's the Go documentation button or something. I don't think there's any errors. Yeah. The mouse wheel is not working. But the up arrow keys are. Okay. What's up with that? So here I figured out that for the mouse wheel, for some reason I can't use the input strength. But I'm guessing there's a reason for that. I think it's just a Boolean. So I don't think the input strength works on that. I'm not completely sure about this 100% now. But what I end up doing is that I go into the input function and then I test if we're getting like a mouse wheel. And yeah, you'll see in a little bit. But yeah, right here I'm just like testing printing some values, trying like the debugger, just trying different things. And I just figure out that it's like, oh wow, it's like I think it just doesn't work for this. But yeah. So yeah, and I look in input event, I look at a bunch of different things, but I just don't find anything. So what I end up doing is I start looking online for how other people did it. This is a good thing to do. Like, if you don't know how to do something, a lot of people have done it before. You don't want to reinvent the wheel on, like, basic shit like this. You want to, like, basically, it's good to, like, look up stuff and documentation as much as you can. Because Godot doesn't, it has actually pretty good documentation in my opinion, but there's not a ton of it. So sometimes if you find some stuff, it might be like, you might be finding a golden goose. And here it is right now, and I start implementing it here. Oh yeah. Another thing I found out here is that this documentation isn't really that helpful for my situation. It's also using constants that I don't have, and yeah, so I just need to end up like going somewhere else. And what I end up doing is I find another piece of documentation that talks about mouse wheel and how it's just, since it's just a tick up and down, it's just a Boolean. I think that's why. So you just say is action pressed, and then you get the mouse wheel. So I need to make two new actions basically, and I just map them mouse wheel up and mouse wheel down. I just want to separate them. So right here I'm just figuring out what to do with this, and I end up going with the input function. I say event.isPressed, action pressed, and then I check the scroll zoom in. And basically what's happening is that each tick is a Boolean. So when it ticks up, it's a Boolean. When it ticks down, it's another Boolean. And right here, I'm just deciding what to do with this setting of the camera size. And I take out the delta. And yeah, so I end up splitting off the camera ref.size equals clamp, whatever, to a different function. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make stuff be passed into it. And you'll see me talk about that right now. Zoom. Input is type float, and that's what this will be. Everything else is a class thing. I definitely need to do that. So zoom input, this is handles that just to make sure we always do this. So set camera zoom, and I think that'll be a lot nicer. So set camera zoom, and this is say toggle zoom. And actually now it might not be too nasty to do this. And boom. Now we just took out a variable too. Okay. So now this will be so instead it'll just be set camera zoom, and this will be maybe 1.0, something like that. And elif event dot is action pressed. And let's look for scroll zoom out. There, that works. Sweet. Okay, so that's all the camera controls, and I think I just passed an hour just because I was looking up documentation. But yeah, that'll be it for today. I'll see you guys motherfucking later. I think next time I'll do more with like the map design and stuff. And yeah, so that's pretty much more player inputs. Okay. Have a good motherfucking day, and I hope this helped.